A great way to find the distance between 2 points is to write an absolute value expression. In this example, we'll look at the distance between -6 and -2. If we were to count the distance between -6 and -2, we would count 4 hops to get there. So we know our distance is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if we were to write this as an expression, we would actually write it as the absolute value of -6 minus the absolute value of -2. We would subtract because subtraction means difference, and we're finding the difference between 2 points that are on the same side of 0. So, once we find the absolute values, 6 minus 2 is 4. Let's look at another example. In this example, we'll find the distance between -3 and +2. Now, when we find this distance using absolute value symbols, we'll find absolute value of -3, and we'll actually add this to the absolute value of 2. Absolute value of -3 is 3, and the absolute value of +2 is 2. Now the reason we're going to add this is because we can count our steps and see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. The trick is to check to see if you have points which are on opposite sides of 0. So our expression is the absolute value of -3 plus the absolute value of 2. Now let's look at some examples using 2 axes. We'll find the distance between A and B, and then points C and D. My x-coordinate for point A is -3, and my y-coordinate is -2. So -3 is over here, and then I'll move down to -2 for the y value. There's point A. Point B is +4, -2. So 4 steps to +4, and then down 2 for -2. That's point B. Now we could see right now that these 2 points are on the opposite sides of 0, which means we're going to have to add these 2 distances from 0 together. Our y values are actually the same, -2 and -2. What's different is our x values, -3 and +4. So this is what's going to give our distance, our difference between the 2 values. So the absolute value of -3 and the absolute value of 4. That's actually all we need, the different numbers. We'll add them together. The absolute value of -3 is 3, and the absolute value of 4 is 4. So we know that our distance is 7. And we can prove that by counting 7 hops to get to the other. Remember, we only need to see the value that is different from the other. So when we look at our next example, we can see that our x-coordinate 3 and 3 are the same. So we're only going to look at the 7 and the 4. These two give us a difference between the 2 points. So we're going to find the difference between them. The absolute value of +7, the absolute value of 4, and we'll subtract them because they're on the exact same side of 0. So our expression that we wrote is absolute value of 7 minus the absolute value of 4. If we were to plot these over here, we could prove the distance between them is actually 3 because 7 minus 4 is 3. Here is point C, and then point D is 3 steps to the right, 4 steps up, gives me point D, and we can clearly see that we were right, 1, 2, 3 steps away.